Being ignored is never an easy experience, especially when you have feelings for that person. It can be confusing and frustrating when you're unsure if you made a mistake, what you can do to fix it, or if there's anything you can do at all. While alpha males may react aggressively or try to win the woman's attention back, beta males may become clingy or overly emotional. But what about sigma males? How does their unique personality type react to being ignored by a woman they're interested in? While they may seem calm and collected on the outside, there's a lot going on inside their mind. Here are 9 ways the sigma male acts when a woman ignores him. Number 1. He doesn't beg for her attention. With a stoic demeanor, this man isn't one to react impulsively when a woman seems disinterested. A sigma male won't chase after someone who isn't showing interest. Instead of trying to grab her attention, he stays calm and moves on with his life. He knows his worth and doesn't need to convince someone to notice him. If one woman goes, another one comes, but his self-worth won't. If someone really wants to be in his life, they'll make an effort to stay. Begging for attention just isn't his style. He'd rather be alone or spend time with people who appreciate his company than run after someone who overlooks his presence. While some may see this as indifference, Sigma sees it as self-respect. This type of behavior can also be seen as a test for her. If she's not willing to make the effort, then she's not worth his time. Alpha males may see this as a challenge, competing and trying harder to win her over. She becomes a prize to be won, like a trophy in their collection. Beta males may become consumed by their emotions and try to convince her of their love, hoping she'll eventually come around. But for the sigma male, it's not about winning or proving his love. It's simply about knowing his worth and not compromising it for someone who doesn't see it. Whether she eventually comes around or not, it doesn't matter to him because his self-worth is not dependent on her actions. As someone said, if you have to chase her, she's not worth catching. Number 2. He doesn't react emotionally. Some men haven't outgrown their childish behavior. When they don't get the response they hoped for from a woman, they might react by being overly dramatic, complaining, or even resorting to insults. Instead of reacting emotionally, the sigma male remains collected. Even when he's brushed off, his emotions stay locked down. It's not like he doesn't feel. He does, just like anyone else. But you wouldn't know it by looking at him. He isn't going to throw a fit or send a bunch of texts asking what he did wrong. Instead, he takes a step back and looks at things from a distance. This man knows if someone really cares, they won't play games like this to begin with. So he shrugs it off and keeps his head up, focused on other stuff that matters. Some might think he's cold or too proud, but that's not the case. He's just not willing to put his emotions on display and give someone the power to mess with his head. He doesn't let the silent treatment derail him. He's got too much self-control and too many other things to focus on. No dramatic scenes or feeling sorry for himself. He's all about staying chill and moving forward. Sometimes this can work in his favor because if the woman sees that he's not bothered by her ignoring him, it can catch her off guard and make her curious why he isn't reacting like others would. This might even make her reconsider her actions. Number 3. He doesn't chase someone who doesn't see it. Some women intentionally ignore men to get their attention. They think that by playing hard to get, the man will become more interested in them and chase after them. While this may work for most guys, it won't work on a sigma male. He's not one to fall for games or manipulation. So if he senses that she is playing hard to get or trying to make him jealous, he won't give her the satisfaction. He'll simply walk away and move on. He's not interested in any mind games or drama. Avoiding the chase is key for sigma. If she doesn't recognize his value, he won't waste time trying to convince her. He carries an air of independence that doesn't allow him to pursue those who overlook his worth. You won't find him sending repeated messages or crafting grand gestures to get her attention. He's too wise to play along and too confident in himself to do so. She'll have to come to him, or things won't go any further. He respects his own time too much to engage in a game of cat and mouse. If she's meant to be a part of his life, she will be, without any need for chasing. This can be quite compelling to some, as it presents him as confident and not desperate for anyone's approval or company. In a world where everyone seems to be chasing after someone, his calm disinterest can be a breath of fresh air, often piquing interest from other women who value such self-assurance. Number 4. He doesn't change himself to please her. In a bid to win over a woman's heart, it's not uncommon for some men to transform themselves. Many try to become what they believe a woman wants them to be, often altering their hobbies, opinions, or even their dress sense to fit into the image they think will earn them affection or attention. They will do anything to make her notice them, even if it means changing their entire persona. They don't even know if what they do will actually work, but they'll try it anyway. A Sigma male would never do that. His individuality and authenticity are non-negotiable. He won't pretend to like things he doesn't just because she does, or change who he is at the core just to appeal to her. Changing for someone else will only lead to resentment in the long run when he can't keep up with the facade anymore. A Sigma male doesn't compromise his identity to please anyone. He's comfortable in his own skin and doesn't need anyone else's validation. He's not afraid to stand out and be different, even if it means not fitting into her expectations. While it may sound counterintuitive, this actually makes him more attractive, as women are drawn to men who are unapologetically themselves. It shows strength of character and confidence, which are highly desirable traits. Number 5. He doesn't let her ignorance affect his self-worth. Being ignored can be pretty tough on anyone's self-confidence. It's like sending a message and never seeing that read receipt, but on a deeply personal level. The gut reaction might be to wonder what's wrong with them or what they did to become invisible to someone else's eyes. But Sigma male doesn't let it shake him up. When a woman ignores him, he doesn't take it as a sign that he's not good enough. Instead, he sees it as her loss. His self-esteem is not dependent on anyone's opinions of him, especially someone who doesn't bother to get to know him. Sure, it would be nice if she took notice, but her lack of attention doesn't define his worth. He keeps his head high, stays true to his path, and continues to rocket life, with or without her approval. It's not about being arrogant. It's just about knowing who you are and owning it. This is where alpha males and Sigma males differ. While an alpha male might feel his self-worth takes a hit when someone ignores him, a Sigma male simply moves on, unfazed. Number 6. He remains authentic, no matter what. When a guy gets ignored, it's easy to start second-guessing himself. Many men might try to change, wondering if they should be funnier or more outgoing. They might try to act tough when they're actually sensitive, or pretend like they don't care when they really do. This can be exhausting and make them feel like they're not good enough as they are. But a Sigma male doesn't fall into this trap. He sticks to who he is, through and through. Whether she notices him or not, it's all the same to him. He's not about to switch up his style or fake a new personality just to get some attention. He just stays real to his core. Pretending to be someone he's not just doesn't make sense. His confidence doesn't rise or fall based on who's paying attention to him. He keeps doing his thing, living life on his own terms. Others see him as someone trustworthy, a man who knows himself and doesn't waver, no matter the situation. In a world full of people always trying to impress someone, the Sigma's steady and true nature stands out. Whether she takes notice or not, he remains the same. Number 7. He doesn't put her on a pedestal. Too many guys make the mistake of idolizing a woman, hanging on every word she says, as if she's some kind of celebrity. They'll put her up on a pedestal, treating her like she's untouchable and flawless, but that's just not real life. A Sigma doesn't buy into that. When a woman ignores him, he won't glorify or treat her like she's above him. To him, everyone's equal and deserves to be treated with respect, but nobody is more important than anyone else. He keeps it real and sees her as a human being, with all the regular imperfections that everyone has. If she's not interested, he doesn't make her into this perfect person he can't have. He just accepts the situation and moves on. By keeping her off that pedestal, he stays grounded and remembers his own worth. He's reliable like that, knowing his value without needing someone else to confirm it. It's this kind of attitude that gives him a quiet power. He's not loud about it, but he sure doesn't get caught up in chasing a fantasy. He's too busy living his own life to worry about someone who doesn't see the good things he brings to the table. Number 8. He pays her back in her own coin when she realizes her mistake. When a woman who previously ignored a man realizes her oversight and decides to give him attention, some guys might grasp the opportunity with both hands. However, Sigma male doesn't jump at the chance just because she changed her mind. Instead, he'll simply treat her how he treats everyone else, with respect and honesty. There's no big show of "I told you so" or resentment. He might even be friendly and polite, but he doesn't let that sudden shift in her behavior sway him. If he feels a connection, he'll consider what's next with a balanced perspective, remembering not to compromise his principles just because she's now showing interest. After all, if he was fine without her attention before, he's still fine without needing to change because of it. He keeps living his life, sticking to his authentic self, showing that he's not defined by anyone else's recognition or lack thereof. This level of self-assurance and the ability to treat others equitably, regardless of the past, underscores a maturity that's both admirable and magnetic. Number 9. He walks away with his head held high. A man with true self-respect knows when it's time to walk away. If he's being ignored, he doesn't sulk or plot his next move to get noticed. He just takes it in stride. It's like water off a duck's back. He shakes it off and keeps moving forward. The Sigma male doesn't need to be in the spotlight to know his value. So he walks away without drama, without bitterness, and definitely without looking back. He's got his own journey to focus on, plenty of dreams to chase and personal goals to achieve. By not making a fuss, he shows that he respects himself too much to beg for attention. Even if she suddenly starts paying attention, he doesn't treat it as a victory lap. He just stays true to himself. He's grounded in who he is and what he stands for, and no amount of being ignored can take that away. Sure, it might sting for a moment, but he bounces back quickly, keeping a stoic demeanor. This kind of self-control and inner strength is an attractive quality, proving that a Sigma male truly knows his worth, with or without anyone else's recognition.